The tempestuous love affair between Mark Antony, a Roman triumvir, and Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, is one of the most dramatic and celebrated romances in history. Their relationship was not just a personal saga, it intertwined with the political currents of the late Roman Republic and the powerful cultural legacy of Egypt. The passion between these two figures ultimately contributed to monumental shifts in power dynamics that would reshape the ancient world and lay the groundwork for the rise of the Roman Empire. To understand the significance of Antony and Cleopatra's union, it's essential to grasp the historical backdrop in which it occurred. In the 1st century BCE, Rome was experiencing unprecedented political turmoil. Following the assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BCE, a power struggle ensued among his supporters and rivals. The power vacuum led to the formation of the Second Triumvirate, composed of Antony, Octavian, later known as Augustus, and Marcus Lepidus. Cleopatra, ruling Egypt since 51 BCE, was a figure of immense wealth and allure. She was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, and a descendant of one of Alexander the Great's generals. Egypt, known for its opulence and cultural richness, held a strategically significant position, both economically and militarily, in the Mediterranean world. Antony and Cleopatra first met in 41 BCE, after Caesar's death. Mark Antony, tasked with acquiring resources for Rome, traveled to Egypt, where he encountered Cleopatra. Their meeting quickly turned into a passionate affair. Cleopatra was known for her intelligence, charm, and political savvy, qualities that matched Antony's larger-than-life personality. Historical accounts depict their relationship as a whirlwind romance filled with fervor, extravagant banquets, and a deep mutual attraction. While their love was passionate, it was also profoundly strategic. Cleopatra sought to secure her throne and protect Egypt from Roman encroachment, while Antony sought to use Cleopatra's resources and influence to bolster his political power. Their relationship became not only a personal union, but also a significant political alliance. The love affair had enormous political ramifications. As Antony spent more time in Egypt, his relationship with Cleopatra fueled tensions in Rome, particularly with Octavian, who was keen to consolidate his power and portray Antony as a traitor to Roman values. The Roman political landscape was fraught with rivalry, and Octavian capitalized on Antony's association with Cleopatra to turn public opinion against him. The culmination of their political machinations took place at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, a decisive naval confrontation between the forces of Octavian and those of Antony and Cleopatra. The battle ended in a stunning defeat for Antony and Cleopatra, leading to their retreat to Egypt. This confrontation marked a significant turning point, signaling the decline of the Roman Republic and the rise of one-man rule under Octavian. In the face of insurmountable odds, Antony and Cleopatra's end was both dramatic and tragic. Following their defeat at Actium, they retreated to Alexandria, where they found themselves cornered by Octavian's forces. In a gripping conclusion to their saga, both Antony and Cleopatra chose to take their own lives rather than surrender to their enemy. According to various historical accounts, Cleopatra died by inducing a poisonous snakebite, while Antony succumbed to self-inflicted wounds after he was brought to Cleopatra's tomb. Their deaths were not just the end of their personal story, they signified the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the transformation of Egypt into a Roman province. The enduring legacy of Antony and Cleopatra has reverberated throughout history. Their love story has been immortalized in literature, art, and drama, most famously through William Shakespeare's tragedy, Antony and Cleopatra. Their tale has inspired countless adaptations and interpretations, showcasing the complexity of love interwoven with power dynamics and political intrigue. The themes of passion, betrayal, and ambition present in their story resonate deeply with universal human experiences, transcending time and culture. Their relationship serves as a reminder of how personal passions can have far-reaching consequences in shaping history. In modern discourse, the figure of Cleopatra has come to symbolize sensuality, intelligence, and political acumen, attributes that defy the often male-centric historical narratives of power. The dynamics between her and Antony reflect the complexities of political alliances, emphasizing how love and ambition can intertwine to alter the course of empires. passionate and tragic union of Antony and Cleopatra was not merely a romantic escapade, it was a moment in history that reshaped empires and influenced the trajectory of the Mediterranean world. Their story embodies the intricacies of human emotion set against the grand tapestry of political ambition and power. As we reflect on their lives, we find a cautionary tale about the intersecting paths of love and politics, one that continues to resonate through the ages, inviting us to explore the timeless mysteries of desire, power, and legacy. The myth of Orpheus and Eurydice is one of the most poignant stories of love and loss in ancient Greek mythology. It explores the depth of love, the power of music, and the profound connection between life and death. Orpheus, the son of the muse Calliope, was renowned for his extraordinary musical talents. His ability to charm and soothe all living things with his lyre made him not only a gifted artist, but also a symbol of the transcendent nature of music. Eurydice, a beautiful nymph, was the love of his life, and their union represented a blissful harmony that was tragically disrupted by fate. Their story begins with a joyous celebration of love, as Orpheus and Eurydice are married in a lavish ceremony that is marked by the blessing of the gods. The couple embodies the ideal of romantic love, and their deep emotional bond reflects the hopefulness of youth and the pleasures of companionship. However, tragedy strikes soon after their wedding when Eurydice is bitten by a snake while wandering through the woods. This fatal encounter leads to her untimely death, abruptly severing the connection between the two lovers and plunging Orpheus into a profound grief so deep that it threatens to consume him. In his despair, Orpheus is driven by an overwhelming determination to bring Eurydice back from the underworld. His love for her motivates him to take an extraordinary journey to the realm of the dead, a perilous and dark place ruled by Hades and Persephone. Armed with nothing but his lyre, Orpheus ventures into the depths of the underworld, a realm feared by mortals and filled with despair. As he descends into the shadowy domain, Orpheus begins to play his lyre, filling the cold, desolate expanse with his haunting melodies. His music is so captivating that it moves the hearts of all who hear it, including Hades and Persephone. The power of his song transcends the barriers of life and death, bringing tears to the eyes of the usually unyielding rulers of the underworld. Touched by his love and devotion, they agree to allow Eurydice to return to the world of the living, but under one strict condition. Orpheus must not look back at her until they have both reached the surface. With hope renewed, Orpheus and Eurydice begin their ascent from the underworld. The feeling of joy and anticipation envelops Orpheus as they walk together in silence, their hearts yearning for reunion. However, as they near the exit, doubt begins to creep into Orpheus's mind. Would Eurydice truly follow him back to life? Is she behind him? Or did he fail to retrieve her from the depths of the underworld? These thoughts weigh heavily on his heart, threatening to unravel the promise of their reunion. In a moment of vulnerability, unable to resist the urge to confirm her presence, Orpheus turns to look at Eurydice. The instant he does, the delicate thread that had connected them shatters, and Eurydice is pulled back into the darkness, lost to him forever. The tragic outcome of Orpheus's decision serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of love and the human condition. His momentary lapse of faith cost him the very thing he sought to reclaim. Heartbroken and filled with remorse, Orpheus returns to the land of the living, forever changed by his loss. His grief resonates deeply, echoing in the songs he plays as he wanders the earth in sorrow. The beauty of his music becomes tinged with a profound sense of longing and melancholia, capturing the emotional depth of love unfulfilled. The myth of Orpheus and Eurydice transcends the boundaries of time and culture, offering insights into the nature of love, loss, and the lengths one will go to for the sake of a beloved. It embodies the struggle between hope and despair, joy and sorrow, illustrating the profound connections that exist between people, even beyond the veil of death. In various interpretations, the relationship between Orpheus and Eurydice reflects broader themes of artistic expression and the enduring power of love. Orpheus's music symbolizes the ability of art to evoke emotion and transcend adversity, bridging the gap between the mortal realm and the otherworldly. The story also encourages reflection on the idea of acceptance and letting go, as Orpheus's inability to do so ultimately leads to his downfall. The legacy of Orpheus and Eurydice persists through literature, art, and popular culture. Their story has inspired countless adaptations, capturing the imagination of audiences across generations. Artists and writers have sought to express the poignant beauty of their love story, exploring the intersections of love, art, and mortality. Ultimately, the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice serves as an enduring testament to the power of love, a force capable of inspiring great feats and profound sacrifices, yet also one that reminds us of the impermanence of life and the inevitable nature of loss. Their tale resonates with a universal truth, that love, in its purest form, can transcend even the boundaries of death, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who experience it. In the end, Orpheus's journey is not only a story of loss, but also a powerful reminder of the love that continues to live on, lingering in the beautiful echoes of melody and memory. The tale of Paris and Helen is a powerful narrative entwined with themes of desire, betrayal, and the monumental consequences of love. Their story is one of the most famous in Greek mythology and serves as the catalyst for the Trojan War, a legendary conflict that has shaped literature and history for centuries. At the heart of this tale lies Helen of Troy, often described as the most beautiful woman in the world, whose allure captivated both gods and mortals alike. Her abduction not only ignited a ferocious war, but also showcased the complexities of love, loyalty, and the interplay of fate. Helen was originally married to Menelaus, the king of Sparta, and their union was celebrated across Greece. According to myth, she was the daughter of Zeus and Layla, and was also linked to a prophecy that foretold her beauty would lead to significant conflict. This foreshadowing becomes evident when Paris, a prince of Troy, is chosen to judge a beauty contest between three goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. The contest arises from a quarrel among the goddesses, which sets in motion a series of events that would culminate in the Trojan War. Each goddess bribes Paris to win his favor. Hera offers him power. Athena promises him great wisdom and military success. And Aphrodite tempts him with the promise of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen. Paris, swayed by desire and ambition, chooses Aphrodite as the winner, undermining the other goddesses and sealing his fate. This choice ignites a chain reaction of vengeance and retribution among the deities, illustrating the volatile nature of relationships in both mortal and divine realms. Having won Aphrodite's favor, Paris travels to Sparta to claim Helen as his own. Under the guise of a diplomatic envoy, he visits Menelaus and is warmly welcomed. However, while Menelaus is away in Crete, Paris takes the opportunity to seduce Helen, and the two embark on a passionate affair. Overwhelmed by desire and tempted by the allure of adventure, Helen chooses to leave Menelaus and escape with Paris to Troy. Their elopement, while fueled by a fervent romance, spirals into a devastating betrayal that echoes throughout the ages. The consequences of Helen's choice become dire as word spreads of her abduction. Menelaus, furious and humiliated, calls upon his brother Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae, for assistance. Agamemnon rallies the Greek city-states, invoking the Oath of Tyndareus, which had previously united all of Helen's suitors under the promise to defend her chosen husband. This formation of a coalition leads to the assembling of a formidable army, including legendary heroes like Achilles, Odysseus, and Ajax, all preparing to lay siege to Troy. The ensuing conflict, known as the Trojan War, is marked by 10 years of fierce battles, heroism, and tragedy. The war is not only a struggle for Helen, but also a clash of egos, pride, and the whims of the gods. The narrative intricately weaves themes of honor and revenge, highlighting the futility and devastation that often accompany human desires. As both sides engage in a brutal campaign, the consequences of Paris and Helen's actions unfold with tragic inevitability. The story of Paris and Helen also explores the interplay of fate and free will. While Helen is portrayed as a figure of beauty and desire, the question of agency arises. Was she a willing participant in her destiny, or was she merely a pawn in the machinations of the gods and the conflicts of men? This ambiguity adds a layer of complexity to her character, prompting reflections on the ways love can lead to both ecstasy and destruction. Ultimately, the legend of Paris and Helen transcends their individual story, serving as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of passion and lust. Their romance, though thrilling and intoxicating, sets in motion a war that leads to immense suffering and the loss of countless lives. The Trojan War becomes a backdrop for themes of heroism, sacrifice, and the capriciousness of fate, as both mortals and gods grapple with the consequences of their choices. The conclusion of this saga is as tragic as it is inevitable. The destruction of Troy and the fallout of the war reverberate throughout history, underscoring the consequences of desire and jealousy that extend beyond the battlefield. Paris, ultimately, meets a tragic end, while Helen's fate shifts between captivity and longing, embodying the pain of love lost and the burdens of beauty. The legacy of Paris and Helen endures through the ages, inspiring countless works of literature, art, and theater. Their story remains a captivating exploration of love's dual nature, its capacity for both creation and destruction. It serves as a poignant reminder of how the flames of passion can ignite conflicts that change the course of history. The myth of Paris and Helen continues to resonate, inviting reflection on the complexities of love, loyalty, and the enduring impact of choices made in the name of desire. In the end, their love, while igniting a legendary war, becomes a timeless exploration of human emotions, laden with lessons that resonate across cultures and generations. In the ancient city of Babylon, where the rivers glistened and the gardens bloomed with fragrant flowers, there unfolded a love story both timeless and tragic. Pyramus and Thisbe, two young hearts bound by an unbreakable affection, lived in neighboring houses. Their love, nurtured in secrecy for their families, were embroiled in a long-standing feud. The very walls that divided them seemed to pulse with their longing, as they communicated through whispers and soft sighs that floated through a narrow crack, a fragile connection that defied the enmity surrounding them. Pyramus, the embodiment of youthful vigor, was celebrated for his handsome visage and striking features. His dark hair framed his face, emphasizing his lively emerald-green eyes that sparkled with hope and passion. Thisbe, equally enchanting with her golden tresses and gentle demeanor, was the sun in Pyramus's sky, illuminating his world. Together they spun dreams beneath the stars, their imaginations painting a future where their love could flourish unencumbered by familial discord. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in hues of pink and orange, their hearts thumped with anticipation for their planned rendezvous beneath the ancient tomb of Ninus. It was a sacred place, shrouded in mystery, where they envisioned beginning a new chapter of their lives, one free from the constraints of their parents' enmity. Unbeknownst to them, fate had a far more tragic tale woven for them, one marked by miscommunication and time. On the night of their elopement, Thisbe arrived first, her heart racing with excitement and a hint of trepidation. She was consumed by the thrill of being with Pyramus and the promise that lay ahead. However, as the night deepened, a sudden rustling in the underbrush shattered her serenity. Emerging from the shadows was a fierce lioness, its jaws stained with the blood of a recent hunt. Enveloped in fear, Thisbe fled, leaving her veil, a delicate artifact representing her affection, behind. When Pyramus arrived shortly thereafter, the moonlight revealed only the veil, now torn and smeared with dark red stains. Misinterpreting the scene, his heart filled with despair. "Oh, Thisbe, my love!" he cried, falling to his knees. His anguish fueled a recklessness. Believing her dead, he drew his sword with trembling hands, tears streaming down his face. "How can I live in a world void of your light?" With a heart-wrenching sob, he plunged the blade into his breast, his life force mingling with the earth. Moments later, Thisbe, quaking and breathless, returned to the tomb, her heart echoing with the memory of Pyramus's laughter. As she approached, a shadow flickered in the moonlight, a shadow that once brought her joy and warmth but now lay lifeless before her. The sight of her beloved's still body sent a wave of realization crashing over her like a torrent. "Pyramus!" she cried, her voice trembling with agony. "What have I done? Why did you not wait?" In her torment, she took up the sword that had delivered her lover to the grave. Sorrow overwhelmed her, and she plunged the blade into her own heart. The lovers, forever entwined in death, became a living testament to the tragedies wrought by misunderstanding and fate. As their blood mingled with the earth, something extraordinary and eternal happened. From the ground where their lifeblood seeped, vibrant mulberry trees began to flourish. Their white fruit slowly transformed to a deep crimson, forever stained by the lovers' sorrow and the intensity of their bond. This beautiful metamorphosis was nature's tribute to a love that defied even death, a poignant reminder of their tragic tale. Their stories spread throughout the ages like wildfire, capturing the hearts of those who would come after. Poets and playwrights whispered their names, immortalizing Pyramus and Thisbe in verses and production, transforming a simple love story into a cultural legend. Their narrative echoed through the ages, becoming a staple in the annals of romance and tragedy, symbolizing the power of love to transcend the boundaries of life and death. Many would reflect on their story as a poignant reminder of the fragility of human existence, of how love can inspire the most profound joy, but also lead to unimaginable heartache. In an era where families clung to vendettas and enmity, Pyramus and Thisbe implored future generations to recognize the destructive nature of hatred and the noble, albeit perilous, pursuit of love. To this day, the tale of Pyramus and Thisbe serves as an emblem of tragic romance, a story where love's vibrant flame flickers only to be extinguished, yet whose embers linger on in memory, an eternal testament to a passion that knew no bounds. Bound by love, lost in tragedy, their spirits, intertwined forever within the whispers of time, remind us that sometimes the most beautiful loves endure not in life, but in the legacy they leave behind. In the timeless sands of ancient Egypt, where the Nile snaked through a world ablaze with life, there existed a love that transcended the bounds of mortality, one forged beneath the relentless sun and whispered among the stars. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, life and resurrection, and his beloved wife, Isis, the goddess of magic and wisdom, were eternal symbols of devotion and unity. Their story unfolded amidst the pyramids and temples, etched into the very heart of a civilization that revered both the living and the dead. Osiris was not just a king among the living. He was revered in the realm beyond, where souls journeyed after their time on earth. With skin as radiant as the lush fields of the Nile, and a crown that glimmered like the finest gold, he embodied serenity and authority. His spirit was gentle yet powerful, the life force that nurtured both flora and fauna. The people adored him, worshiping his bountiful harvests and honoring him as the protector of the dead. Yet his greatest treasure was not the wealth of the earth, but the profound love he shared with Isis. Isis, the epitome of grace and strength, was both a caring mother and a fierce warrior. With long, dark hair that cascaded like a waterfall, she held a wisdom that reached far beyond the confines of understanding. Gifted with magical powers and an indomitable spirit, she shepherded the souls of the departed and imbued the world with nurturing energy. Her heart beat in time with Osiris, their connection interwoven like the threads of a tapestry, vibrant and eternal. However, not all was idyllic in this divine realm. The darkness of jealousy and betrayal lurked, embodied by Seth, Osiris's treacherous brother. Consumed by ambition for power, Seth plotted his sinister revenge, driven by envy of Osiris's greatness and the love he shared with Isis. In a dark twist of fate, Seth captured Osiris, sealing him within a beautifully crafted coffin, and cast him into the Nile, believing he would drown in obscurity. Isis's heart shattered when she learned of her beloved's fate. Clad in mourning, she traversed the lush banks of the Nile, her spirit unyielding. With each tear she shed, the river cried with her, its currents bearing her lament to the farthest reaches of the land. "Osiris," she called into the depths, "where have you gone? Come back to me, my love." Her cries resonated, mingling with the calls of the river, a melody of desperate devotion. Guided by her indomitable spirit and brilliant magic, Isis embarked on a grueling quest to reclaim her beloved from the grips of death. She searched the vast lands, encountering spirits and deities alike, her love burning like a candle in the darkness. Finally, after days filled with anguish and determination, she discovered Osiris's lifeless body hidden within the reeds of the Nile. With gentle hands and a heart aflame with hope, she wept for her lost love, her tears mingling with the waters that cradled him. Through her ancient magic, Isis drew upon the deepest powers of creation. She called forth the winds and the stars, beckoning the sacred elements to merge and breathe life back into Osiris. As light enveloped him, the world shimmered with possibility, and Osiris awoke to find Isis by his side, her eyes filled with the warmth of unwavering love. "You have returned," she exclaimed, embracing him tightly, their souls entwining once more. But fate would not simply relent. Though Osiris was restored, the heavy weight of his death and resurrection created a divide. He could no longer dwell in the realm of mortals. Instead, he took his rightful place as the Lord of the afterlife, a guardian to all who passed. While separated by the veil of existence, the love shared between Osiris and Isis endured, unbreakable as the stars that watched over them. In the shadows of their longing, a great truth emerged. From their union sprang Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky, destined to reclaim his father's throne and free the land from Seth's tyranny. Isis's fierce love for Osiris manifested in Horus, who would eventually become a champion of light, rising against the darkness, with the strength of his parents coursing through his veins. Even in the realms of gods and mortals, their story blossomed across generations, a testament to love that defies time and transcends the bounds of existence. As the seasons changed and the Nile overflowed with life, the tale of Osiris and Isis told of hope, resilience, and the eternal pursuit of reunion. Their love, immortal and divine, became a cornerstone of Egyptian belief, reminding all of the sacred bond with the power to conquer even the most heinous betrayal. The echoes of their devotion danced on the breeze, imprinting their legacy into the annals of time. In every prayer spoken and every heart that dared to love, Osiris and Isis lived on, a beacon of light guiding souls through the shadows, eternally entwined, a celestial dance of divine love amidst the vast cosmos. In the ancient world, where the sun dipped low over the Aegean Sea and the stars glimmered like diamonds in an infinite sky, there was a story woven from the very fabric of desire and tragedy. It was a tale of Hero and Leander, two souls from opposite shores, whose love ignited like a spark against the backdrop of the tumultuous Hellespont. Hero, a priestess of Aphrodite, resided in the lofty tower overlooking the churning waters that separated her from her heart's true longing. With hair as dark as the raven's wing and eyes that mirrored the depth of the sea, she was a beacon of beauty and devotion. Each day, dressed in flowing robes that billowed like the sails of ships, she tended to the sacred temple, chanting hymns and invoking the goddess of love. Yet beneath the surging waves of her piety, a fire burned, a longing for connection that the rituals could not quench. Across the waters, in the bustling town of Abydos, lived the handsome Leander, a young man with a spirit as wild as the winds that swept through the crags of the cliffs. His physique, honed from hours of swimming and racing, was matched only by his fervent passion for life and love. It was fate that brought them together during a fleeting festival, an occasion filled with laughter, music, and the sense of blooming myrtle. Their eyes met across the crowded revelry, the world around them fading as if the cosmos had conspired to unite their hearts in that very moment. But time, as it often does, spun its web of complication. Leander, drawn to Hero like a moth to a flame, dared to row the swift waters of the Hellespont each night, guided by the light of her lantern that winked from the heights of her tower. With each stroke of his oars, he inched closer to the promise of her embrace, whispering sweet nothings to the silvery waves that danced beneath the moonlight. "Hero!" he would call, his voice echoing against the cliffs, carrying his ardor across the rippling surface. "I am but a whisper away, my love. Let your heart call to me, and I shall be there." Hero, heart aflutter with longing, would respond, her voice a soft caress. "Come to me, Leander. The night is our witness, and the stars shall guard our secret." Under the celestial canopy, their words wrapped around each other like tendrils of ivy, each meeting nuanced with the promise of something eternal. Yet, as sweet as their love appeared, chaos was poised to strike. The seas were fickle, and storms would rise without warning, churning the Hellespont into a tempestuous fury. Despite the dangers that lay between them, Leander's resolve only grew stronger. Each night, spurred on by desire and the unyielding flame of their connection, he battled the raging waters, determined to bridge the physical divide that sought to keep them apart. One fateful evening, the winds howled like a banshee, and the moon hung heavy with foreboding. Undeterred, Leander set sail, his eyes locked on the distant glow of Hero's lantern, his guiding star. But the storm proved merciless. Waves crashed like titans clashing, and the tempest swallowed the frail vessel whole. Helpless against the furious tide, Leander fought valiantly, his heart consumed with thoughts of Hero until, in a cruel twist of fate, his strength waned and darkness enveloped him. Meanwhile, back in her tower, Hero remained watchful, her heart racing with anticipation. But as the hours crept by, the flicker of her lantern waned with her hope. When dawn broke and painted the sky in hues of rose and gold, she peered through the mist, desperation clawing at her chest. For the first time, she noticed the absence of the familiar glimmer on the horizon. "Leander," she cried into the silence, but only the echo of her voice answered. A primal fear coursed through her veins as she raced to the shore, her heart clenching with every step. There, amidst the wreckage of a broken boat, she found a remnant of her beloved, his lifeless body washed ashore, a tragic testament to their unyielding love. The world around her faded, the sun blurring into streaks of gray, as she cradled Leander's head in her lap, her tears mingling with the salt of the sea. "Oh, cruel fate," she wailed, her voice raw with grief. "What gods have conspired to tear us apart? I tasted love. I held it close, only to be robbed of its light." In that moment of profound sorrow, Hero knew that life without Leander was a burden too heavy to bear. With determination forged from the depths of her despair, she took the dagger that rested at her side, its blade shimmering with an ethereal light, a final offering to love that had brought her both elation and agony. With a single decisive act, she plunged the dagger into her heart, uniting her soul with that of her beloved, their spirits destined to entwine in the realm beyond. Thus, their tragic love story turned into an eternal symbol of devotion that resonated through the ages. Beside the shores of the Hellespont, where their lives intertwined, two lovers remained eternal, forever joined in spirit as the waves lapped against the sands, whispering their tale to the winds, etched across time like the constellations shimmering in the night sky. In the hearts of those who followed, Hero and Leander became more than mere mortals. They inspired countless artists, poets, and dreamers with their story, transcending the boundaries of life and death. Their love, a beacon of unwavering yearning and tragic beauty, reminded all that true passion knows no boundaries, no storms, and no separation. As long as the stars twinkled above the Hellespont, their love remained, a timeless testament to the power of devotion, enduring even in the face of fate's cruelest hand. The tale of Tristan and Iseult, one of the most iconic love stories in Western literature, captivates with its themes of passion, fate, and tragedy. Rooted in the medieval romances of the 12th century, their narrative has been retold and reinterpreted through the centuries, becoming a symbol of doomed love that resonates across time and cultures. The story begins with Tristan, a brave knight of Cornwall, known for his valor and skill in battle. When his uncle, King Mark of Cornwall, seeks a bride to secure an alliance with Ireland, Tristan is tasked with traveling to the Emerald Isle to bring back Iseult, the beautiful daughter of King Donchad. This journey sets the stage for an extraordinary tale of love and heartache. As Tristan and Iseult make their way back to Cornwall, fate intervenes dramatically. While aboard the ship, they unwittingly consume a love potion meant for Iseult and King Mark, given to them by Iseult's mother. This potion ignites a deep, all-consuming passion between them, binding them in a love that transcends the social and marital obligations awaiting them. Their destinies are now intertwined in ways that will change their lives forever. Upon returning to Cornwall, Iseult marries King Mark, but her heart belongs to Tristan. They find themselves torn, their love is a force of nature, a divine connection that neither can resist, yet it contradicts their societal roles and responsibilities. Tristan serves as Mark's favorite knight, placing him in a position of deep conflict as he grapples with his loyalty to the king and his fervent love for Iseult. The lovers communicate in secret, stealing moments away from prying eyes, and their affair blooms in the shadows. They devise elaborate schemes to meet, navigating the intricate web of courtly life and the rules of chivalry that govern their world. Their love is passionate and fervent, marked by a sense of urgency that highlights the constraints placed upon them. The romantic escapades are filled with excitement, intimate exchanges, and the intoxicating thrill of forbidden love. However, their happiness is not without consequences. As rumors begin to circulate, King Mark grows increasingly suspicious of their relationship. The tension escalates when one of Mark's trusted knights, Iseult, discovers the truth and conveys it to the king, igniting a tragic chain of events. The love between Tristan and Iseult faces insurmountable hurdles, where love becomes intertwined with betrayal, jealousy, and societal expectations. Struggling to protect their love while facing external pressures, Tristan and Iseult undertake perilous escapades to keep their bond alive. There are dramatic confrontations with King Mark and his court as relationships dissolve amidst the flames of jealousy and anger. The tragic heart of the story becomes apparent as both lovers' lives spiral into chaos. The once noble ideals of chivalry and honor decay under the weight of their doomed romance. One particularly poignant episode occurs when Tristan, gravely wounded in battle, seeks healing. He calls for Iseult, and she comes to him in his hour of need. Their reunion is both heartbreaking and passionate, reaffirming the depth of their love. However, circumstances conspire against them, leading to misunderstandings and ultimate tragedy. Even when they are physically together, the looming specter of fate causes pain and separation. The climax of their tale arises when Tristan, returning from another venture, attempts to find solace in Iseult's arms. Miscommunication leads to their tragic separation once more. Tristan hears word that Iseult has married another, which shatters him. In his despair, he embarks on a quest for vengeance against those he believes have wronged him. In a heart-wrenching end, Tristan succumbs to a mortal wound and sends for Iseult one last time. The message is distorted as it reaches her. One version indicates that he is dead, while another suggests he is alive and seeking her. Rushing to him, Iseult encounters a scene of profound despair. Tristan lies dying, and both lovers finally recognize the overwhelming power of their feelings. Tragically, their love proves both their salvation and their doom. Their deaths are emblematic of their love, a bittersweet conclusion that speaks to the absurdity of fate and the tragic nature of love. In many retellings, Iseult dies of grief after Tristan's passing, choosing to join him in death rather than live a world devoid of their passion. The legacy of Tristan and Iseult endures as a profound reflection on the nature of love, exploring themes of devotion, sacrifice, and the complexities of human emotions. Their story serves as a cautionary tale of the bittersweet nature of love, reminding us that passion can be both a blessing and a curse. Their narrative highlights how love can defy societal norms and conventions, yet ultimately succumb to the inevitable tragedy of fate. Throughout history, the tale has inspired countless adaptations in literature, music, and art. Modern retellings continue to explore the essence of their love story, connecting generations of readers with the enduring themes of longing and loss. The lover's connection, characterized by both ecstasy and heartache, speaks universally to the human experience. In essence, the story of Tristan and Iseult remains a touchstone of romantic tragedy. It is a narrative that captures the complexity of true love and highlights the sacrifices individuals make for the sake of passion, reminding us that love, in its purest form, can be both the most beautiful and the most tragic aspect of life. The tale lives on, echoing through time as a representation of the eternal struggle between desire and obligation. A love story that will undoubtedly continue to resonate for generations to come. The tragic love story of Layla and Majnun is one of the most cherished narratives in Persian and Arabic literature, a timeless tale that depicts the profound and often agonizing nature of love. It encapsulates themes of desire, Madness and Devotion, illustrating how love can inspire great poetry and also lead to heart-wrenching despair. Rooted in the 7th century, with notable renditions by poets such as Nizami Ganjavi and countless others, the tale resonates deeply across the Arab world and beyond. The story begins in the lush landscapes of Arabia, where Qais, a young man of noble lineage, falls deeply in love with Layla, a beautiful girl of equal standing. Their love blossoms against the backdrop of a vibrant desert oasis, filled with the scents of blooming flowers and the sounds of nature. From the moment Qais lays eyes on Layla, he is captivated by her beauty and grace. Their bond deepens, shared through innocent glances and whispered conversations, expressing a connection that transcends the material world. However, Layla's parents, aware of their growing affection, disapprove of their relationship. They seek to protect their daughter's future and status in a society that places great importance on honor and family alliances. In a drastic move to keep them apart, they arrange for Layla to marry another nobleman, turning their passionate love affair into a heart-wrenching separation. As Layla is torn from Qais, he is devastated, his love rapidly consuming him. Unable to bear the thought of life without her, he wanders through the desert, overwhelmed by sorrow. His friends and family grow concerned, but he becomes increasingly withdrawn and consumed by his longing for Layla. In his anguish, he takes on the name Majnun, meaning madman, a name that would forever connect him to his unyielding passion for Layla. Majnun's love turns into a form of madness, elevating his emotions to a divine plane where he finds solace in poetry. He expresses his feelings through haunting verses that speak to the depths of his longing and despair. His poetry captures the essence of unfulfilled love, revealing a soul in torment, where every word breathes his yearning for Layla. He weaves tales of beauty, loss, and enchantment, echoing the universal experience of loving someone unattainably. In stark contrast, Layla, though forced into a loveless marriage, finds her heart still tethered to Majnun. Her marriage to another man brings her sorrow as she longs not for wealth or status, but for the pure love she shared with Majnun. As she hears of his madness and poetic lament, she too becomes entwined in her own sorrow, understanding that their love, while pure, has become permanently marked by fate's cruel hand. As the years pass, Layla becomes a symbol of steadfast love and devotion. She withstands the pressures of her marriage, embodying the conflict between societal expectations and the power of true love. Majnun, on the other hand, becomes a wandering poet, going from town to town, sharing his heart's lament and seeking solace in the beauty of his beloved Layla. Even as he spirals further into madness, he often encounters those who wish to help him, but Majnun remains steadfast in his belief that his love for Layla is the only truth worth pursuing. Their separation intensifies the longing and passion, and both lovers endure immense pain. Majnun's reputation as a madman becomes a double-edged sword. While it brings him notoriety as a poet, it also isolates him from society and reinforces the idea that love can equate to madness. He is often depicted as an outcast, wandering the desert, his heart tangled in the thorns of unfulfilled desire. The story continues to unravel as Layla's family presses her to remain in her marriage. In one poignant moment, she discovers Majnun in the wilderness. Their eyes meet, igniting the flame of their undying love once more. But they are mere shadows of their former selves, burdened by a world that refuses to recognize the depth of their connection. Majnun, though mad with love, is still deeply aware of his fate. He knows that their love, though pure, is tainted by external circumstances. Despite their enduring emotions, the brutality of their society keeps them apart. Layla's husband is a man of great power and influence, and he views Majnun as a threat to his honor. As tensions escalate, it becomes increasingly difficult for their paths to cross. Majnun is left with only his poetry, a testament to a love that defies the very boundaries of existence. Ultimately, the tale culminates in tragedy. Layla, tormented by her unfulfilled love, falls gravely ill. The news reaches Majnun, who is consumed by despair. Despite his madness, he remains hopeful until the end, clinging to the belief that they will be united in some way. When Layla passes away, the cruel reality of their love's demise shatters him. In his grief, Majnun succumbs to despair, ultimately dying in the desert, heartbroken and lost. In death, the lovers find a bittersweet reunion. Many versions of the story depict them choosing to be together in the afterlife, transcending the limitations of the earthly realm where their love was never accepted. Their love story, marked by longing and suffering, transforms into a legend that speaks to the endurance of true love, even amid insurmountable challenges. The legacy of Layla and Majnun continues to resonate throughout history, inspiring countless works of art, poetry, and music. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the possibilities and perils of love, illustrating how deeply love can penetrate the human heart, driving individuals to madness while also inspiring the most beautiful expressions of longing. Across cultures, Layla and Majnun symbolize the universal struggle between the heart's desires and societal constraints. Their love embodies the idea that true love is often unattainable and can lead to both profound joy and unimaginable sorrow. This enduring tale remains a testament to the unbreakable bond that can exist between two individuals, echoing the message that even in despair, love endures. A narrative that continues to transcend borders and generations, capturing the imagination of people around the world. In the ancient world of Sumer, where the cradle of civilization gently rocked under the watchful eye of the heavens, the tale of Inanna and Dumuzi flourished as a sacred narrative of love, rebirth, and the cycles of nature. Among the pantheon of Sumerian deities, Inanna, the goddess of love, beauty, war, and fertility, stood as a commanding figure, a potent symbol of femininity and power. Dumuzi, her beloved, was a shepherd god, personifying the lushness of the earth and the promise of bounty. Their story, interwoven with the very rhythms of life and death, was celebrated in the sacred marriage ritual, an annual event that echoed the struggle between light and darkness. The relationship between Inanna and Dumuzi was rich with layers of meaning, each thread woven into the fabric of Sumerian culture. Their love was not merely a union of two deities. It represented the sacred balance between the divine feminine and masculine, echoing the cycles of nature, a dance of life and death, fertility and barrenness. As the goddess of love, Inanna was known for her fierce spirit and compassion, guiding her people through the tumultuous tides of existence. Dumuzi, embodying the earth's cycles, brought the warmth of life to the coldness of the winter months, a union that reminded the Sumerians that love could conquer all hardships, including the harshness of the seasons. The ritual of the sacred marriage was a celebration steeped in mythology. Each year, as the spring equinox approached, the people of Sumer would gather to witness the reenactment of Inanna and Dumuzi's divine union. Inanna, adorned in splendid garments and jewels, would descend from the heavens to the earthly realm, representing the goddess's profound connection with humanity. This sacred act symbolized the goddess's role as a nurturer and protector of life, embracing the fertility of the earth. The reenactment would unfold in the grand temple dedicated to Inanna, where a priestess would embody the goddess, while a high priest would take on the role of Dumuzi, invoking the gods and calling forth the blessings needed for bountiful harvests. In this ceremonial embrace, the divine couple united, conjuring fertility not only for the fields, but for the hearts and spirits of the people, reaffirming the bond between mortals and the divine. Inanna and Dumuzi's love was not without its challenges. Their union hinged on the balance between growth and decay, love and loss, a reflection of human emotions as much as cosmic events. Inanna, characterized by her dynamic nature, was both a nurturing mother and a fierce warrior. In one of the most poignant myths, she descends to the underworld, ruled by her sister Ereshkigal, seeking knowledge and power. This journey highlights the inevitability of death and the trials one must face. It also serves as a reminder that love often requires sacrifice. Upon Inanna's descent into the underworld, Dumuzi experienced a profound sense of loss. He was rendered powerless in her absence. Inanna's time in the realm of the dead brought a stark shift to the earth. Crops failed, love waned, and the world plunged into darkness. Yet, as the seasons dictated, her journey was cyclical. Eventually, she would return to the surface, bringing life back to the land. but she could not do so alone. In her quest to revive herself, she declared that Dumuzi must pay the price. It was a bittersweet exchange, for Dumuzi agreed to descend to the underworld in her place, a sacrifice to ensure Inanna's return. This narrative of death and resurrection echoed the agricultural practices of the Sumerians, mirroring the cyclical nature of planting and harvest. The ancient people understood that for new life to flourish, something had to perish. Thus, the sacred marriage embodied the intimate relationship between death and rebirth, love and sacrifice. As time moved on, the stories of Inanna and Dumuzi became etched in the hearts of Sumerians. They influenced not only religious practices, but also art, literature, and culture, serving as symbols of unwavering devotion and the intricate interplay of life's joys and sorrows. The sacred marriage was a celebration of love that transcended the mortal realm, inspiring generations to cherish the bonds between lovers, families, and the divine. Ultimately, Inanna and Dumuzi's story is a reflection of human experience, a tale of love that is as complex and multifaceted as the emotions it evokes. Their legacy continues to resonate, capturing the essence of the sacred in everyday life. In their union, we see the dance of creation, a testament to the enduring power of love, the inevitability of sacrifice, and the promise of renewal. From the fertile plains of ancient Sumer to the stones of modern-day temples, the echoes of Inanna and Dumuzi's love remind us that in the heart of the sacred marriage lies the pulse of existence itself, a continuous cycle of love, loss, and rebirth that defines the human experience. The story of Shirin and Farhad is a poignant and heart-wrenching tale from Persian literature, celebrated for its themes of love, sacrifice, and the complex interplay between devotion and destiny. Most famously recounted by the poet Nizami Ganjavi in his epic work Khosrow and Shirin, the story weaves a rich tapestry of romance, longing, and tragedy that has captivated audiences for centuries. Shirin is a beautiful and noble princess, known for her intelligence, grace, and strength of character. Farhad, on the other hand, is a talented and skilled stonemason, whose craftsmanship is renowned throughout the kingdom. The story unfolds against the backdrop of ancient Persia, where love and ambition intertwine with themes of power and betrayal. Farhad first hears of Shirin when he sees her portrait, which incites an overwhelming love within him. Enamored with her beauty and spirit, he dedicates his life to winning her heart. After hearing tales of her kindness and nobility, Farhad is determined to prove himself worthy of her love. Meanwhile, Shirin, unaware of Farhad's feelings, captures the attention of Khosrow, the king, who is deeply infatuated with her. Khosrow is a powerful ruler, but his love is marked by arrogance and entitlement. He is determined to conquer Shirin not just through his wealth and status, but also by any means necessary, including manipulation and deceit. While Khosrow pursues Shirin, a unique turn of fate allows Farhad to enter her life. Impressed with Farhad's extraordinary talent, Khosrow assigns him the daunting task of carving a massive canal through a mountain to bring water to Shirin's palace, a task intended to demonstrate his prowess and win her favor. Little does Khosrow know that Farhad's heart is already entwined with Shirin's. As Farhad works tirelessly on the canal, his dedication and skill impress Shirin, who comes to admire his passion and determination. Their feelings for one another blossom, creating a deep and genuine connection based on mutual respect and admiration. Farhad's hard work and perseverance draw Shirin closer to him, as she recognizes the purity of his love compared to Khosrow's more superficial affections. However, as their love deepens, challenges arise. Khosrow, seeing Farhad as a rival, becomes increasingly jealous and resorts to cruel tactics to keep the two apart. He tries to separate them by manipulating Shirin, portraying his wealth and status as superior to Farhad's humble background. Ultimately, Khosrow attempts to win Shirin's heart through force and lineage, while Farhad faces an arduous journey filled with obstacles. Despite the overwhelming challenges, his love for Shirin drives him to overcome every hurdle in pursuit of her affection. The climactic moment comes when Khosrow learns of Shirin's love for Farhad. In a fit of rage, he sends a false message to Farhad, claiming that Shirin has passed away. Devastated, Farhad becomes overwhelmed with grief. Believing he has lost the love of his life, he takes his own life, viewing death as his only escape from the pain of separation. The tragic irony is that Shirin, upon learning of Farhad's suicide, rushes to his side, only to discover that he has already succumbed to despair. In her heartache, she understands the profound depth of Farhad's love and realizes the extent of Khosrow's cruelty. In the aftermath of Farhad's death, Shirin's grief morphs into an unending sorrow. She mourns the loss of true love while grappling with the pressures placed upon her by Khosrow and society. Ultimately, the story concludes with Shirin's own tragic end, as she cannot bear a life stripped of love and meaning. The tale of Shirin and Farhad is more than a simple love story. It reflects the themes of devotion, sacrifice, and the struggle against societal constraints. Through their profound love, the narrative explores the transformative and sometimes destructive power of passion. It serves as a timeless reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of love, and the enduring nature of true affection. The legacy of Shirin and Farhad continues to resonate in Persian culture and literature, inspiring countless adaptations in poetry, music, and art. Their story highlights the universal struggles of love against fate and the heart's yearning for connection, marking it as a cornerstone of romantic tragedy in world literature.